we have a total of 48 plots out here. A total of 12 different treatments or 12 different systems, and each one is replicated 4 times. So we have a block along here with all the signs, and it includes that pasture. Is one set of 12 treatments. We have another set of 12 right behind you, and then at that end of the field there's 2 more sets of 12. The reason that we do this is so that we can collect data and have greater confidence that differences in the data reflect differences in the treatment, rather than whether we happen to have one treatment on a sandier spot or a little bit wetter spot in the field. And as you notice, this field is somewhat variable. It looks like flat valley floor, but it's not. It goes up and down a little bit, and no surprise. The soils change a little bit, and we can see some of those effects in our results. The crops that we have chosen, we're kind of mimicking an organic vegetable production system, but you notice, most small-scale organic vegetable farmers might be growing, 5 or 10 or 20 or 50 or 60 different crops, and you'll see 3 here, and we will be following the broccoli with spinach. We'll have 4. Our goal is to be able to collect data on the yield and quality of the crops, but not spend our whole time harvesting. So we're not in the business of having something to go to market 3 times a week. So we pick lettuce because we can harvest that in about 2 days. The broccoli, I think it was about 4 days this year, which was a long period. The squash we'll do in 1 day. The spinach we'll probably do in 1 or 2 days. So instead we can spend our time collecting data. Under our current regimen, we plant a pasture for 2 years. We planted this in the fall of 2007. We raised chickens and sheep on it in 2008. We're doing the same in 2009. And then next spring, we will till it up and we will go back to vegetable production. So what this is evolving into is a low input system. So depending upon how much land you have, if you're in a very land tight situation, you're probably not going to integrate a lot of animals in. But if you have a little more flexibility with land, we believe that this is going to be a very low input way to manage, where we do not have to be bringing in a lot of other inputs. We do bring in feed for the chickens. We grow legumes in the pasture. The sheep are basically recycling the nutrients, so that we may have a system where we can rely on the animal system and the pasture system to supply the fertility for the vegetable crops. We expect, I know the last time we did this, we just had a 1-year pasture, and we did get lower yields from the vegetable crops. We want to see what happens with a 2-year system and then continue that running throughout. So we have the 3 cover crop systems. We have a couple different types of tillage. We don't have any no-till yet, or anything that even approaches no-till. We have what we call traditional or conventional, where we're using disc, rototill, plow if we really need it. And then we also have a spader. We don't have it out here today, but it's a European tool that does more gentle and somewhat deeper digging. And we've seen less compact soils with the spader, better seed bed preparation, and sometimes, but not always, higher yields with it. We've been pretty impressed with that. And then our final treatment difference is in amendments. We use 2 kinds of amendments. We use broiler litter from chicken production, very nitrogen rich. We apply it at a rather low application rate. Dry weight, it's about 2 dry tons per year. As is, that's about 3 to 4. And then we have a compost that we make here using broiler litter, dairy solids, yard debris. We get some waste in from the Puyallup Fair, and we apply that at a much higher rate. We started out the first years at 15 tons per acre. We're down to about 7 now, as our soil is getting built up more. And we really see big differences in soil quality. If you want to see an immediate, pretty big effect on the quality of your soil regarding organic matter and physical properties, a fairly large input of an organic amendment seems to do that. 15 dry tons per acre is probably about that much on the surface of the ground, just to get an idea of what that would look like. And after just a couple of applications of that, profound differences, you can probably back off after that, yes.
Okay, you're talking about the increase in fertility. Now, the Puyallup Valley at one time was considered one of the most fertile areas in the state of Washington.
Okay. What we have to think about, that's a good question. It was one of the most fertile areas. Is what we have here is soils with inherently good physical properties. No rocks, generally deep soil, so there's no impediments to the rooting zone, level, which makes it easy to farm. The fertility is based on organic matter and then what kinds of additions we make, because the crops are continually pulling nutrients off. So you can have a very good soil or a good potential soil without it being highly fertile. But we find that when we add the organic matter to it, because it has been depleted over the years in these soils, is we are getting more release of nutrients through that organic matter. We're stimulating the biology of the soil. We've demonstrated that. The soil becomes less dense, better infiltration, more porous. So even in these good soils, we are seeing, over the 7-year period, we've seen some pretty profound improvements in the soil.
Organic.
Right, right.